The rain poured down in sharp, cold sheets, blurring the glow of the city's nightlights. Outside the dimly lit parking garage of an upscale downtown restaurant, a tall woman in a fitted navy coat clutched her purse and quickened her pace. Her heels clicked urgently against the concrete as she darted glances over her shoulder. That woman was Claire Donovan, one of the youngest female CEOs in the country, known in the business world for her fierce intelligence and icy composure. But right now, she wasn't walking into a boardroom. She was walking into trouble. They appeared from behind a pillar, 3 men at first, then more shadows emerging from the far end of the garage. Drunk. Loud. Grinning in that way that made every instinct in her scream danger. "Hey, pretty thing," one of them called, blocking her path. Another whistled, stepping close enough that she could smell the alcohol on his breath. Claire's throat tightened. She wasn't afraid of corporate predators, but this was different. The world in here was stripped of rules and contracts, it was all raw threat. She opened her mouth to tell them to move, but one man reached for her arm. That's when she noticed him. Just a few feet away, leaning casually against a support column as if he had nowhere in particular to be, stood a broad-shouldered man in a faded leather jacket. His hair was damp from the rain, his jaw set in a way that made him look both calm and dangerous at the same time. She hadn't seen him come in. He looked ordinary. But his eyes, sharp, unblinking, were locked on the group in front of her. The lead bully glanced over his shoulder at him. "What's your problem, old man?" The man pushed off the column slowly, like he had all the time in the world. "My problem," he said in a voice low and even, "is that you're standing between the lady and where she needs to go." The guys laughed. "And what are you gonna do about it?" The man's gaze didn't waver. "You don't want me to answer that." The laughter died in their throats when he stepped into the light. His presence seemed to fill the space, quiet power radiating from every movement. Claire didn't know it yet, but she was looking at Jake Rourke, a single-dad and decorated Navy SEAL who had seen more combat than these punks could imagine. The first guy made the mistake of shoving him. It happened so fast Claire barely processed it. One moment the man's hands were on Jake's chest, the next he was flat on the concrete with a groan, clutching his side. The others rushed forward in a drunken fury. Jake moved like water, fluid, controlled, devastating. A strike to the throat, a sweep of the leg, a sharp elbow to the ribs. They went down one by one, groaning, gasping, cursing. More men poured from the far end of the garage, friends of the bullies. Claire counted quickly, there had to be at least 15 now, maybe more. Jake glanced at her once, almost like he was checking to make sure she was okay, before stepping forward to meet them head-on. It was brutal, but not messy. Every move was precise, every takedown calculated. He wasn't just fighting, he was dismantling them, neutralizing the threat without ever losing control. Claire's heart pounded as she watched him move. This wasn't the reckless chaos of a street fight. This was training. This was war, shrunk down into a parking garage. By the time the last man hit the ground, the echo of fists and groans had been replaced by the hum of the rain outside. Jake straightened, his breathing steady, his eyes scanning to make sure there were no more threats. Claire realized she hadn't moved, still clutching her purse like a lifeline. He turned to her, and for the first time, his expression softened. "You okay?" She nodded, still in awe. "You, who are you?" "Just a guy picking up takeout," he said, almost smiling. She almost laughed, but then the sound of a small voice echoed from the garage entrance. "Dad." Claire's gaze followed Jake's. A little girl, maybe 7 or 8, ran toward him, her umbrella bouncing in her hand. She stopped short when she saw the scene, her wide eyes taking in the sprawled men on the ground. Jake crouched so he was at her level, his voice gentle now. "It's okay, sweetheart. Just a little problem we had to fix." Claire watched as the girl slipped her small hand into his. Something in her chest tightened, not just from relief, but from the way this dangerous, disciplined man instantly transformed into a father who would do anything to protect his child. Later, when the police came and the attackers were taken away, Claire found herself walking beside Jake and his daughter toward the street. She had never needed rescuing before, never relied on anyone to step in. But tonight had changed something. "You didn't have to do that," she said quietly. Jake gave her a sidelong look.